Question: have you seen the music videos of the artists that the American music industry promotes and rewards? Have you read their lyrics? Have you heard the vile things that come out of their mouths? Do you approve of the performances they put on stage on live television where children can see? They are some of the sickest, most disgusting people in America. The vast majority of normal Americans refuse to watch or listen to their pitiful attempt at music. No Grammy is a badge of honor. Go watch the music vids of some of these singers that BTS was asked to perform. I'm paraphrasing, with perform with on stage, and then come back and tell me how great they were. I'm not talking about Coldplay or even Halsey. Most of this, okay, it's not by accident that, okay, I'm skipping some things, and this did not just start. It has been going on for decades. They put it right in the face, in your face recently, and people are too blind and dumb to see. I've been asked this type of question many times. I've gotten Twitter messages, emails, and I have to confess, I've actually largely tried to ignore them because it's just too controversial. I try to keep this channel like light and positive, and I feel like this is something that will be very controversial. But at the same time, a lot of these people are very honest with their feelings, and I try to respond to as many as I can one-on-one. But sometimes there's just too much. Like this type of message, there's just too many, and you've been very honest with me. You really are asking for my point of view, and I really value that. I'm very thankful. And so this is my response. There's another one here. She says there is too much sexuality in the music industry right now, and BTS. Okay, actually, it's not even sexual; it's vulgar. I don't mind artistic interpretation of sexual acts. That's just part of the beauty of art. But downright talking about doing sexual acts and actually simulating sexual acts—that's not art. That's indecency. That's vulgarity. Is this the kind of influence we want our kids to grow up in? For me, a private part should still be private. It feels like singers' only way to feel empowered is to show their bodies and simulate sexual acts. It's vulgar and filthy. It's not empowering. Owning your body and getting respected don't equate to showing off your like it's the flag of America. Okay, so this response, I'm going to try to be as honest as I could, but still tame it, because I don't want to irritate people or start any kind of unhealthy discussion. All right, so number one contention, and I think this will forever be the point of contention, is that sensuality, sexuality, and vulgarity will always be subjective. What may be vulgar to me may not be vulgar to you. Just as an example, you go to France, people just see breasts all day long. And it's normal for them. They don't care. Even men don't flinch when they see a woman without her bra on, and just, for their breasts for the world to see. They don't care. It's just a part of everyday for them. And you go in some parts of the Philippines, there are actually IPs, indigenous peoples, and their traditional clothing actually show their breasts to the world. They don't have anything, no upper garment. And then the men just cover their private part with, we call it the bahag. It's actually a piece of cloth. So they don't wear underwear. So they just have a string that's around their hips, and then there's a piece of cloth hanging in the middle to cover their private part. Now, that's very normal for them on a daily basis. You go west, everyone's going to have a fit that you're walking around with your private parts almost seen and for the world to see. So that's just an example of how subjective sensuality and sexuality and vulgarity is. So that will forever be a piece of contention. So people might say and interpret a certain performance to be sensual, but for other people it might be vulgar. All right, so next is everyone has the right to express their art. And I I've always believed that to a larger degree, art should be free of any kind of moral or social responsibility. Art should be measured through its own, like art for art's sake, basically, to a certain degree. Um, I think you should just be free to do whatever it is that you want. And I remember Kevin Hart, just this last week I was watching some of the interviews of Kevin Hart. He's one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time. And Dave Chappelle, and both of them were talking about stand-up comedy as a craft, like as an art, and they should be freed from any kind of social obligation, because that's just their art. Like, it is not real. What they say is not real. It's just to make people laugh. So in the same way, art is like that. I feel like it should be freed from any kind of social or moral obligation. So if somebody feels like showing off my body and simulating sexual acts on stage is my art, then they should be free to do that. Okay. Number 3, personally, if I am consuming something, if I'm watching somebody perform and they take off their clothes and they simulate sexual acts, that is fine. I will not necessarily like it, but I will not hate it either, and I will not think it is immoral if that is the way that they perform, if that's their thing. Okay. Now, the only time I actually will tune out of it or will dislike it is if I feel like the art is not prolific, the artist is not prolific and does nothing but the same thing over and over again. So if a certain singer simulates sexual acts, but if a certain singer comes out with a routine, a dance routine that simulates sexual acts consistently in every song, I'll probably for me it'll be jarring. Like, again, I've seen that in the last performance, the same thing again. And that is true with any kind of element in a performance. So the same way, if a director or a screenwriter or an actor does the same thing over and over again in every movie, I'll find it jarring. I'll say that in my eyes it won't be good anymore, because I've seen that before. Of course, for an artist, I would expect artists to be prolific. So the same way with simulation of sexual acts and nudity. If I've seen it before and you keep on doing it in every performance, in every song, then I'll probably find it jarring. Now, next point is, that being said, there is in point number 2, I said that for the most part, art should be free of any social or moral obligation. I say almost because there is one thing that I think art should always consider, and that would be children. So I've realized this as I continue doing all of these reaction videos and reviews of movies and stage plays and songs and whatever. I realized that I would always respect everyone's right to do what they want. Grind, pump, go naked, whatever it is that you want to do it. I will honor your right to do it. As long, except when children are present, or there is a possibility that children will watch it. If you can't guarantee, if you can't guarantee that children won't watch it, then don't do it. That is just my opinion, because as much as men and women should have the right to wear whatever it is that they want to wear, do whatever it is that they want to do, perform their art or create art any way, shape, or form that they want, children have more right to be protected, to be raised with the right values, to know art in the right context, to be inspired in the right way. I would never want children to exclusively associate empowerment with sexual acts and nudity. I wouldn't want them to exclusively think that cool artists or celebrities do this kind of stuff. I wouldn't want that. It is pretty obvious, the person who wrote the first message, it is pretty obvious who you're referring to. Do I like the specific of that collaboration of BTS? No. And it's not because I feel like the artist is too sexual or vulgar. I just do not feel like the song became better when the featuring artist actually came in. So there was the original version, and then there was a version with a collaboration with an artist. I don't feel like the song became better. I think that the original version was still better. So in fact, there's two specific collaborations of BTS that I don't like, and both of this collaboration came in after the original version was released. I always prefer the original version. I personally do not mind, just want to make it clear, I personally do not mind what she's doing. The way that she's performing her art or creating her art, you know, her music videos and performances. I don't mind it at all. I just feel like when children see that this artist is collaborating with BTS, children are going to search for this artist and will find nothing but that. Because in almost every, I think in all of her performances, in all of her songs and music videos, there's always that component. So I don't agree with all the choices BTS has made in their career, and that's okay. I've never seen, that's just how it is. Like in any artist that you like, you will not agree with everything that they're doing, and that's part of the beauty of being an artist, right? I mean, the Beatles, they've done a lot of things that are very, very questionable. Linkin Park is almost flawless in my head, but there are certain songs that I don't like, and certain elements or, you know, things within a song that I don't like. So same thing as with BTS. I like majority, probably 99% of what they've done, and there's just certain 1% that I don't like, and that's okay. They are artists, that they're not my moral foundation, so to speak. So what do I do when I don't like a certain collaboration or certain thing that they do? I just try my very best to not I do two things. I don't consume that content. So those two songs specifically that I don't like, with where they actually featured some artists, I don't listen to those versions. It's not in my playlist. I just don't listen to it. I just listen to the original ones. The original one was the best. Second thing that I do is, whoever it is, a child that I'm caring for, I try to explain to them why I would not recommend that content. I have some nieces and nephews. Luckily, I belong to a family who are very open to ideas and conversations, and I know that when the parents don't want me to tell their child my opinion, they will tell me not to share my opinion to their children. So but then in any, you all know that I help raise a girl, so I just explain. She's not a minor anymore, but I try to explain to her why I don't like certain thing. So yeah, that's just what I do. I try to keep it away from the children around me if I think that it's not safe to be consumed by a child. But I'm just one fan. Whatever it is I do is not going to affect their success or the progress of their career. But I'm not doing it for them. I'm really doing it for the children that are around me. So, far be it for me to actually judge someone's morality or cast the first stone or second or third or any kind of stone for that matter. But it doesn't mean that I am okay for children to be seeing people simulating sex on stage or undressing in public. And now, the problem is that fans who express real concern, like about those artists BTS collaborated with, the problem is that when they express their concern, number one, it's hard to determine whether they're just trying to hate or they're actually really concerned. That's the number one struggle. Second is that even if they actually are really concerned, like it is really coming, their criticism is actually coming from a place of concern and not hate, they get bullied because other fans don't like BTS being criticized at all. Like, regardless of your intention, you shouldn't criticize BTS at all. So, and then there are other fans who actually like the collaborator, like that artist, and so they feel like there's nothing wrong because they like them. So yeah, so they get bullied, they get bashed, and so the tendency is for them to just back down because who likes that, right? Okay, so and then there are other people who are saying, well, BTS is just a sexual. They do a lot of, you know, like their dimple choreographies, a lot of body waves and whatever. I don't find body wave sensual, by the way. I think it's a body wave, right? But anyway, but they're saying that they BTS, they also pump and they grind or whatever. So, and I do agree that they have some routines that are sensual, but it's not everything. It's not like every song is sensual. You know, they have a wide variety of different dance routines, and that I like that. As I've said earlier, I find it jarring when it's the same thing over and over again. Okay, so I just want to clarify that I do not dislike the artist. I don't even dislike the collaboration per se. I just dislike that collaboration, those two collaborations, because I feel like it didn't make the song better. And and second is that I just feel like children are gonna search for these artists and they will see, you know, that almost all the performances are actually do those kind of things, you know, simulate sexual acts and whatever. Now, I know that many people are gonna say that it is not BTS's job or the artist's job to actually be the moral guardians of children. I actually disagree. I think when it comes to children, when it comes to a child, even if it is just one child, it is the whole world's business. We should all try to contribute into raising that child and building a world where that child is going to thrive and grow up happy and healthy. It is everybody's business. It is everybody's obligation, absolute obligation, to do what we can to make sure that that child remains a child for as long as they can, and that comes with all the privileges of the innocence and purity of a child's mind, and that they also grow up with the right influences, the right balance, the right context of different ideas, no matter how radical those ideas may be, and the proper explanation on where those evolution of ideas came from, you know, all of those stuff. It is absolutely everybody's obligation. We should all try to do what we can when it comes to a child. And when those things happen, when they collaborate with somebody that I don't like, or when they do something I don't like, you know, I'm just one fan, and whatever I do won't affect their success. Still very happy for their success. I definitely I don't like them any less for all of that. It's just that just like any other artist that I've liked before, and any other artist I will like in the future. I know that not everything they will do I will like, and that is okay.